Hey, I'm Adam Jusko, and this is Adam Answers, where we answer the burning and not so burning questions of the day. In this video, do I have to pay taxes ever on stocks that I haven't actually sold yet? If they've made gains, do I have to pay taxes on any of those gains if I haven't actually sold the stock? That's what we're going to answer. If you find this video valuable, give it a like. Maybe subscribe. So if you are someone buying stocks for the first time, you may be surprised to find out that taxes are part of the equation. Oftentimes people don't even think about the taxes at all until they've already sold the stock and then maybe find out that they have to pay some taxes on it. But one of the questions that comes up often if you haven't done this before is, well, what if I have a stock and I bought it at a certain price and it went up in value, but I haven't actually sold it yet? Do I have to pay any taxes on that increase in value while I still hold the stock? And the answer is no. Until you sell a stock, you are not going to have to pay taxes on the gains to that stock. So if you bought some Apple stock today and it just skyrockets in value and you hold it for the next 20 years and it is, worth 20 times what it was when you bought it, you will not pay taxes on that stock at any point until or unless you actually sell the stock. Now, why would that be? A stock is obviously a lot more valuable if you can look at the price today and see that it is 10 times what it was when you bought the stock. But until you actually sell that stock, those are essentially what they call paper gains. You know that it is worth more than it was when you bought it, but you haven't actually cashed out and taken that greater value in money that you can then use somewhere else. So you still have that same asset. The asset itself has not actually changed until you sell it and you get the gains from it. So those gains are what are being taxed. So until you sell, you aren't going to pay taxes on any of those gains. Once you do sell that stock, then the tax liability comes into play. How much you're going to have to pay in taxes is going to depend on how much the stock went up. It's going to depend on how long you held the stock, and it is going to depend on how much income you had otherwise in the year that you sold that stock. So you won't pay taxes on the gains in the value of a stock until you actually sell that stock. But I should note here that if you own a stock that has paid dividends along the way, you will be taxed on those dividends. So where the stock that you have that is just gaining in value, you haven't actually received any of that value until you sell it, dividends are a different story. That is sort of a cash payout that you are getting from the company that you are a shareholder in. So when you get those cash payments, those dividends, you are going to be taxed on them either as ordinary income or perhaps as capital gains taxes, depending on the nature of the stock that we are talking about. But you will have to pay your taxes on the dividends each year when you actually receive them. You'll only pay the taxes on that stock sale when you actually sell it. And here's an interesting little extra. If you buy a stock today and you hold it for the rest of your life and you die still holding that stock, you've never sold it, and then it gets inherited by somebody else, that person that inherits that stock will not have to pay taxes on all those gains that that stock made since the day that you bought it. So it's almost like the clock starts over again. They would get that stock, and whatever the value of that stock was on the day they inherited it, that is sort of the beginning value as far as they are concerned. So if they sold that stock immediately, they wouldn't pay any taxes on it, even though it had gained in value like crazy during your lifetime. And if they held on to it for longer, they wouldn't pay taxes on anything but whatever the gains were from the day they got it until they sold it. This is sort of one of the ways that many rich families get rich and get richer over generations. If they pass on stock and all of those gains are never taxed, then the next generation gets a stock that has a lot of value and they don't have to pay the taxes on it. Now, there are inheritance taxes and there are reasons that they might end up selling that stock to pay other taxes when they inherit other things from someone, but that is one of the ways that the rich get richer. So that is it. If you have bought some stock and you got a big gain and you're worried about paying those taxes, you don't have to worry about paying those taxes until that stock is actually sold. Questions, comments, put those in that comments section. Otherwise, I thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.